Okay, I'm recovering from part 2. There's probably things that I forgot to say, and I don't really care. I'm aware of it. Anyways, let's go on, because I don't think anything could possibly be worse than that. So, Sony this year did basically how I felt they should have done, which was essentially, hey, let's take last place and use it to our advantage. Let's actually surprise the audience with games, as well as some new technology. And guess what? Sony fucking delivered. And Jack Tretton, you know what? You could hate how old he is and maybe unhip. The guy was fucking awesome. He even made a joke. He commented about how he was nervous. This is what people should be also looking at. This guy represented that he's pretty much normal, just like us. Unfortunately, he works for a company that overprices their technology, but nonetheless, they're making new content. So let's go on here, okay, shall we? Sony opened up pretty simple, you know. They explained how they want everybody to be together with games, sort of like the other two companies did, but you know, it was like their own twist on it, I guess. And you know, they didn't show particularly, like, there were certain things that they did forget to mention, but I'm sure it's okay. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. They discussed the PS2 for about 5 minutes. I don't really understand the concept of this still. Yeah, it's $100 and cheap Christian families. Uh-oh, I made it religious, right? I don't know. For some reason, when I see the PS2 still being bought, I can only imagine a humble little cheap Christian family, like those stereotypical ones that just can go, "Here you go, my son. Here, play the Bible game." I don't know. I'm not trying to make this religious, but for some reason I could see that, and I find humor in it. And it's kind of sick that I find humor in it, but I do. Yeah. Okay, that shows a lot about me. Anyways, I just didn't understand the concept of explaining this. I'm glad it sells, and I understand from a business standpoint why you're still selling it, because it's cheap and it's affordable. But, I mean, come on. Really? You're gonna continue this thing? Shit. That makes me wonder what would happen if the Super Nintendo kept going. Oh, that would have been fucking awesome. Anyways, so let's go on. They discussed the PSP and the PSP 3000 and how they've advanced each other and how the UMD disc and the sales have been doing good. And that's, you know, I was never really in the PSP, but that's great. Until the worst kept E3 secret was shown. The PSP Go is a brand new portable created based on digital content. In other words, there is no UMD discs. It's a 16 gig, yes, I say that again, 16 gig flash drive, internal flash drive, whatever, that essentially could take enough shit. And there's an extra spot for memory in case you're an extra super nerd that buys everything. Every game that you buy on the system. There's Bluetooth, there's online, there's all that good shit. And it's really, really, really fucking small. How small? Smaller than the DS Lite and the DS. And I also heard that it's smaller than the original PSP, and both of them. It's tiny, but it's nice screen. It pops out. It's got one analog stick, which is the biggest complaint I've heard, but that's it. I mean, come on. It's still got buttons, right? And it's really cool, you know. I'm not trying to sound, again, this is, you know, you already know what's coming. So let's just get on with it. And I really want it. The only problem is that it's $250 fucking dollars. But other than that, it would be really nice to have it, because for once I actually want a PSP for the next Kingdom Hearts game, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. Which didn't show off, bastards. They also showed, you know, like Gran Turismo, etc., yada yada. But here was what was cool. They've been trying to live off of their whole trying to live off of their whole create, play, that kind of thing, that catchphrase that they had with Little Big Planet. And essentially what they want to do is they want to do something similar of the aspect. So they introduced a game called MonsterManX Racers. Now, I don't really remember the order of which they introduced these games, so you're going to have to bear with me. MonsterManX Racers is essentially taking Little Big Planet and adding it to a racing zone. Oh yeah, by the way, Little Big Planet got announced also for the PSP. Yeah, you already knew that, right? MonsterManX Racers is like, you could take like your own little character that relates to like an urban vinyl figure. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. Design it any way you want. I think you could also design your car, and you could build stages, racetracks to drive on. For instance, in 5 minutes flat, they made a racetrack with mountains, a lake, sheep, villages. It was great, and I really think it's going to be a big hit. And of course, I'm sure it's online, so that's cool. Another thing that was cool was they showed off Assassin's Creed 2, which actually sealed the deal for me, because once they showed the whole Da Vinci's gliding thing in Italy back in the, whatever the age of time that was, and, spiking 2 people in the face and walking off like, yo, motherfucker, that was pretty cool. So, I'm sold on that. Assassin's Creed 2 looks gorgeous. I gotta try the first one still, sadly. Mag is amazing. I don't know if I'm gonna get it, personally, but I'm sure a lot of people are interested. 256 players online sniping each other out, stealing bases. I'm sure they're going to host it on their own server or something, or else it's going to be called lag. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, I had to do it. Another thing that was interesting was, you see, I have to backtrack here. I also forgot to add that they announced a Metal Gear Solid game for the PSP called Rising, which is essentially going to, I guess, take place before 4, sort of like the next game. Which is coming to Xbox, but they haven't really said anything about a PlayStation 3 release, which I'm sure it's going to happen. But it's like a lot of snakes, and they do like a lot of Snake clones. That's all I know. I don't really know the series too well, and I wish I could represent it more better on this, but I don't know anything about it. Okay, another huge thing was they announced Final Fantasy 13, obviously, with a brand new trailer. I'm not even trying to sound like I hate everything. I can't. I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't care. But I'm sure a lot of people went nuts on that. But the big what the fuck was, like, they announced that a Final Fantasy 14 has been worked on. They had a trailer for that, and it's online, and it's exclusive to PS3, which is pretty much a solid business move, if I have to say so. That was pretty cool. They also showed early something called Uncharted 2. No, I'm just kidding. I know what it is. Uncharted 2 looks amazing. The thing that really stood out for me was it almost looked like you were playing through a cutscene, because as you were moving, things were going nuts, buildings were falling, helicopters are shooting at you, you're sniping people. It looked great. It's going to be a beautiful game. I might have to definitely check that out. There's also a new Rockstar PS3 exclusive project being revealed called, if I could find the name, I would know what it's called. It's called Agent. And they don't really want to tell us anything, apparently. The creator of, I believe, Ico showed off a new game called Trico, The Last Guardian, which is essentially involving a little boy and a very fucking realistic weird lion cat thing to control in the game. I don't really understand that myself, so there. But, of course, you gotta save the best for last. The God of War 3, which was shown at the end, practically, was fucking amazing. Even if you never liked Sony or God of War, you had to be fucking entertained by this. He took on a goddamn centaur, chopped up its stomach and ripped out the organ, then took on a chimera before a boss battle after wiping out numerous men to chop off its snake tail and then punch the lion head in the face and then fucking take the horn out and jab it through its eye. That is fucking metal. Man, that was cool. They showed off a whole bunch of other games, but I can't really name them off the top of my head, I'm sorry. But I wanted to save this for last. Apparently Sony is working on a motion control. And it's interesting. It's almost like looking like at a Wiimote with a ball at the top. And it was cool because he's like, imagine if we could cast spells and we go from like blue, and he's like, and I want to do fire, and then it turned red. And it was really cool. And he showed what it did. When you would reach down, it would pop up different weapons and different things, and you could swing with them. He also showed off a tech these two guys also showed off a tech demo of a bow and arrow sequence where they shot at skeleton men, and zoomed in and everything. It was really, with two of them, and I have to say it was rather beautiful. I really want to see what they're gonna do with this. You know, I can't say it was as good as Natal, because Natal is pretty intriguing, but it's very, very cool. And a lot of people gave a lot of pop to it, and it was cool. You know, I like what they're doing, and I want to see more of it. Hopefully they'll add it to a cool RPG game or something. Again, I wish I could remember a lot of the things they showed. They showed like White Knight Chronicles, which I want personally. First RPG in a while I want. And some other stuff. I feel bad. Anyways, that was it. And I have to say, you know, Sony really sealed the deal for me. They didn't piss me off. They got straight to the point, showed us games. The only thing I wish that they could have done was lower that price for that PSP Go and lower the goddamn price of the PS3 already. They discussed even on the show that they lowered part manufacturers, meaning it's going to cost less. So why not make the system cost less? Unless they're working on a Slim, they haven't deconfirmed that yet. Anyways, I really think Sony won this. Look, Natal and Milo, that creepy little fuck, you know, they're really pushing the limits of technology, and they're really amazing, and it's intriguing. But I like to be old school and say that I like my controller, and that I don't want to get tired as a fellow chubby person. And I really liked what Sony showed off as far as games go. It got me more excited than seeing a bunch of shooting games. I mean, there was like 1 or 2 shooters for Sony, but it wasn't anything like too powerful, I guess. I can't even explain what I just said. In any case, I really thought that Sony pulled the stops, and I'm going to say that they won the E3, if they even could win it. Anyways, this is it. That's all I could say. I'm really not mad. Anyways, hope you had a good time watching the show. See you fuckers later. Grinds My Gears is coming back soon.